Today, I'm in Jonesboro, Tennessee, at the longest storytelling festival in the United States, the National Storytelling Festival, with a very well-known, popular storyteller, Andy Offutt Irwin. Thank you, Andy, for being here.
It's great to be here, Mark.
And I hear you're from Covington, Georgia.
I am from Covington, Georgia.
Now I know at least 3 people who live there.
That's right, that's right.
Great little town.
It is a great little town.
I'm not going to list or even mention all the things about you because I found them on your website.
Okay.
But you are an incredible person who makes a living doing this.
I do, this is my job.
You are a singer, songwriter, and a humorist.
I'm a humorist rather than a comedian because I play in more schools and libraries and there isn't a 3-drink minimum.
Okay, good point, good point. I did an interview a couple years ago with a magician comedian, and I'm thinking, okay, he was the class clown. And he said, no, he was an introvert. But on your website, Andy, it said you were indeed the class clown. At what grade was this when you determined that this was you?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's a complicated one. I was always silly. I was a silly kid.
Even like first grade, or you
yeah,
thinking fifth
but
grade?
it really bloomed 5th, 6th grade, and that's true. And starting around 5th grade, I really was the class clown.
So I'm sure your fellow students thought you were a hoot. What about the teachers? I'm coming from being a teacher for all my career, so.
Right. I will say that one of my teachers, 6th grade, I had memorized, it's the name that cannot be invoked anymore, but I memorized Bill Cosby's albums.
Okay.
And I would recite them, and then she would let me recite them while she did the lunch report and stuff at the beginning of the school day. So I think certainly not my 4th grade teacher whose name I won't even say, or my 3rd grade teacher whose name I will not say.
They may still be around, you know. So.
No, my 3rd grade teacher would be 130 if she were alive, but my latter teachers, a lot of them, yeah. And I'm still in very close touch with my high school chorus teacher, who is Susan Merritt, who went on to become the education director of the Atlanta Symphony. Wow. And she's still a great pal, and I have to call her next week. We got to get together because she's a huge influence and a wonderful teacher. So I had some good teachers, especially in high school. And I'm telling a story this week that I just told about. Involves Tommy Scarborough, who was a history teacher in high school, and he was leader of our explorer troop and took us caving and sailing and all that sort of thing. So, yeah. And you know, I even got punked by my high school teachers. You know, they turned pranks on me. So there was that.
So was that attention you got from the students and the teachers back in 5th, 6th, 7th grade? Is that what kind of said, I want to be on stage? Or
I think
did that come later?
Yeah, no, I was always a show-off. Always a show-off. And funny, and I could whistle.
I've read that too. Let me hear a little whistle. Can you do that? Gotta have some water.
One must hydrate. Hydrate before whistling, or to wet one's whistle.
Good point.
And I don't have to breathe.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
That's absolutely note by note.
Thank you.
In key. Whichever song that was.
That was just a song I was making up on the fly.
So, speaking of making things up on the fly, mentions you often come up with these characters, and I'm very curious about this one named Dr. Marguerite Van Camp. Who is she?
I'm Andy's aunt. I'm 85 years old. And my girlfriend and our husbands have passed on. And we were tired of the bridge club and the garden club. So we both went to medical school. And we opened up a little hospital clinic in our community. And we served 2 purposes. We're a hospice for people who won't admit it. Usually very conservative people, because the first time a lot of people ever heard the word hospice was from Bill Moyers on the PBS, so they think death and dying is a liberal issue.
So that's Marguerite. And she has She hears from her dead husband from across the veil, but she now has a boyfriend named Ike.
Ooh.
So that's a big deal. And she has a daughter named Francine, a granddaughter named Drusilla, and now a great grandson named Chaz, and Mary Frances. So they're a pretty big slew of characters, about a dozen characters surrounding Marguerite, and I have to voice them all.
I was going to ask if that's what you do.
Yeah, I have to voice them all, and they have to be different. They all have to be different.
So is that like a 20 or 30 minute story? That just came from a story that was like 30 minutes long. Is that
Right, right.
Are most of your stories like long stories, long form? I don't know if it's called long form or.
I have everything from 90 minutes to 10 minutes.
Wow.
Last night, theoretically, my stories were supposed to be 10 minutes, but I think they came in slightly longer. I have a one-man show that I'm pitching right now called Free the Imprisoned Lightning, which is about Marguerite's great uncle Leopold Mendelssohn, who adores liberty enlightening the world, which is the proper name given to what we call the Statue of Liberty. And that's a long one. If I get to do all of it, it's about 90 minutes. Yeah, I have 3 stories that I can take to 90 minutes, so it's a full long theater show, or throw in an intermission, call it a 2-hour evening.
Wow.
But most of my stuff is 27 minutes, because at this festival, an hour-long set with 2 storytellers is 27 minutes.
And you had an announcer trying to.
You have announcements, and that's what I'm doing this week. So I did a show last night with Bill Lepp, Kim Whitecamp. Collectively, we're called the Uncalled For Trio. And we've been.
Have you performed before with that name?
About 15 years, yeah.
Okay.
And we sort of split up because Kimmy had a yarn shop that she opened in 2018, and then her mother-in-law was ill, and she was working retail, and we were doing Christmas tours, so she couldn't do the Christmas tours anymore. And then Reggie Carpenter started working with Bill and me. It's a whole different iteration. But the Uncalled For Trio, Crystal Hawkins, the program director here, wanted us to do that show for Thursday night before the festival. And so we did that. That was officially a 90-minute show, but we brung it in at 85, and that pleases them.
So I saw on the program for this festival, you're listed for several different things.
Yeah, and
is that typical at a storytelling festival?
Yeah, I'm an MC.
Okay.
So I'm emceeing several stages. Most specifically, the Slam, which is a competition, and that will be tomorrow afternoon, Saturday.
Okay.
And then I will MC my friend, the Honorable Carmen Didi, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And
is that a made-up name, or is that
no?
her
Carmen Didi is a children's book writer and is a well-regarded writer. And she's only doing one set, and she's doing it in the Jackson Theater, and I'll MC that.
Which is a cool downtown old movie theater.
Yeah.
Is it still a movie theater or not anymore?
Yeah, they show pictures there, and this is my 20th anniversary. My first of being here. Mm-hmm. My first festival is 2005. This is 2025, and the Jackson has been closed the entire time. And the first time that the new Jackson, the renovated Jackson, and it's been gutted and rebuilt. It's beautiful on the inside. The first time it was used was last year. A year ago, Helene took out the festival.
Oh, yes.
And 5 of us put on a show in the Jackson for the local United Way. And we told people, don't come here because I-40 is tore up. And it was devastating, Hurricane Helene. Well, you know that. It was huge. So we did a show. There were 5 of us who were storytellers, and then Barbara McBride Smith, who's a storyteller who's retired, was our MC. So it was Paul Strickland, Bill Lepp, Sheila Arnold, me, and one more. Donald Davis.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Donald Davis were the storytellers for that sort of emergency fundraiser.
One night only?
One night, one show. We'd done it in a couple hours, and then, it was. But that was the first time the renovated Jackson was used.
Oh, really?
And now we're using it for extra shows.
Yeah, for people who have not been to Jonesboro, it's worth the drive through just to come visit.
It's
Storytelling Festival makes it all even better. It's my first time. I'm excited to see what goes on here. I knew it was big, but didn't know it was this big.
It's cool.
So, All right, back to 6th, 7th grade. You're getting laughs. You love being on stage. At what point did you finally think you could actually make money doing this?
When I got a job doing it.
First job. What was your first job?
Well, no, my friend Donnie Compton and I had a little duet guitar, singer-songwriter duet at Gigi's Pizza in Covington when we were 17. And I was in the band, I was a drummer, and then I did a lot of theater in college. And I crammed 4 years of college into 6 years at Georgia College. And my first job after college was writing a musical with my mentor Clyde Tipton, who was a composer, and we wrote a musical based on the life of St. Francis called Through the Needle's Eye. So my first year out of college, I was still in my college town. Everybody thought I was still in college. And then I auditioned for SAC Theater, SAK, in Orlando. And I ended up working at Epcot for 5 years.
As an entertainer?
As an entertainer, as a
Doing
comedian.
what? Comedian?
Doing street theater comedy, mostly. I was mostly at the United Kingdom Pavilion.
Did you have to speak with an accent?
Yes, which I don't try to do anymore, but we would call the Renaissance Street Theater, and we would do, King Gorboduc and Romeo and Juliet, but you get an old lady to play Juliet, you get an old man to play Romeo, you get a middle-aged man to play Tybalt, and one to play Mercutio, and we'd make them stab each other with cushy, pillowy kind of swords, and make them lie on the ground. It was SAC Theater we were vendors. I did that for 5 years, and then I wrote convention shows for Disney. I wrote, and I became the assistant director of Gyro the Robot, which is a robot at Epcot, and a scriptwriter. And then I was the showrunner and director and writer of Alien Tourists from Halley's Comet at Epcot, and that show was personally fired by Michael Eisner.
Fired?
Yeah.
Did he see it?
Yeah, he saw it. He saw the 10:30 show. There was no 12:30 show. Yep.
How many shows had you done prior to that one? That wasn't the first show, was it? The 10:30 show?
No, it was every hour on the half hour from 10:30 to like 6:30 was when it was supposed to be. But
you got paid, I hope.
Oh yeah, I got paid for yeah.
Was that the end of Disney career, or did you?
Soon after that, yes.
Okay. Then you kept finding
And
gigs.
Then I returned to Georgia. I picked up my guitar. I started writing a lot more songs. I played a bit with Sean Mullins and Matthew Kaler, who just came to see me here back in August, which was kind of cool. I hadn't seen him in a long time. Was playing with the likes of Michelle Malone and a bunch of those people, and the singer-songwriter circuit. Played at the Freight Room. And when I sold out the Freight Room, I moved up to Eddie's Attic, and I was at Eddie's Attic like once a month with my band, which was called Andy Offutt Irwin versus the Finger Monsters, which was at least bass and drum and sometimes a better guitar player. And the trick with that band was I was the songwriter, but the weakest musician in the group. That's
I understand, yes.
Yeah, so that was fun. That was a fun period. And I played, Midtown Music, back when I was on Peachtree and 10th, which is now a federal building, I believe. And did a whole lot of that sort of work. and then the chaplain at Oxford College of Emory University was a dear friend named Sammy Clark, and he asked me to be the keynote for his fall retreat. I did that. I met the director of theater there, Clark Lemons. He asked me if I'd do an improv workshop. I did that. He asked me if I would do sort of a workshop on, he was doing Pirandello's 6 Characters in Search of an Author. I did that. He said, I'm going on sabbatical. Would you like to be the interim director of theater? I said, sure. And I had a resume. I directed a bunch of stuff in Orlando and had been involved with regular theater too. And so I did that. And then my first play was Madwoman of Chaillot, Jean Giraudoux, something, in the canon. Then I wanted to do Craig Lucas's Reckless. And I finished Madwoman of Chaillot, and I got called up to the dean's office. And he's looking at my resume. He goes, where's the rest of your dossier? I said, That's it, man. He goes, where did you get your MFA? I said, I ain't got no MFA. So my title became artist in residence, and they kept me for 16 years.
Fantastic.
Until I resigned, and I resigned when I did my first National Storytelling Festival here, and all of a sudden I had like half a year's worth of gigs in my pocket, and I quit my day job.
And I've looked on your website, your calendar of events upcoming, and you looks like you are booked out.
I'm booked, yeah, and right now the calendar doesn't say anything through November. Maybe by the time people see this, I will have updated the calendar, but there's a bunch of gigs that ain't there.
You're traveling pro, go all over, stay busy as you want to be. Let's say there's some 14-year-old kid comes hear you one of these shows, and he or she says, I'd love to do that. What advice would you give someone who's thinking about that could be a fun way to make a living?
14 is a funny age. It's kind of a great age. Anything you hear when you're 14, it's going to stay with you. Anything that influences you at that age, 13, 14 is huge. I'll say keep showing off, make up stuff, learn an instrument, practice it, learn it well, take real lessons from real people, which I did not do. I wasn't really a guitar player until I was 19. Do as much theater as you can. A lot of storytellers start out as librarians, but do as much theater as you can. And I would argue that storytelling is essentially a form of theater. Now, we like the lights up. My writer says I like the house lights up at 30% if it's a real theater. Obviously, that doesn't happen in a 1,200-seat tent, but and listen to what people say that you do well and lean on that. Like when I was in 6th grade, people said you can really whistle, so I started leaning on that. I'm not the best singer, but I know my limits. I will. One of my brags is Tim Reese produced an album that I did called Banana Seed, and he was my fretless bass player. I say mine, like he was the fretless bass player in the band. You know, we worked together, but it was my band still bore my name, and great musician. And on my album, he plays mandolin and lap steel guitar and fretless bass, and he's just wonderful. But he said, you're a good band leader. And you know, being a theater director and a band leader is kind of where I lean, which means you're not the best actor in the world, but you know how to listen. And you're not the best musician in the room, but you know, I'm a pretty good songwriter, and I know how to hear it. And listen. Be a great listener. You know, being a good performer is about being a great listener. Being a great storyteller is about being a great listener and listening to people. And one of my dear ones, my dear one says, the most interesting people are interested. Be interested in a whole slew of stuff, and get as educated at it as you can. And I believe in, you know, Mark, you're an educator, but I believe in well-educated entertainers. I think they're powerful people. And the reason I'm a humorist and not a comedian is sometimes I want my humor to do some work. And I believe in that deeply. So that's the kind of stuff I tell kids. And I play a lot of kids' shows.
I thought I read that, yes.
Yeah, and the secret to life is
You like those?
Oh gosh, yes. Oh gosh, yes. And I always say the secret is treat children with the respect you give adults, and treat grown-ups with the exuberance that kids crave. That's my balance.
Love that.
And I've played a million kids. I mean, probably a couple of thousand kids shows. When I'm with young people, I always say, hey, do me a favor. Especially, I still get to work at Oxford College. I was artist in residence. Now I'm artist in just passing through. But I get to work there on a gig basis every year, and I have since 1990, at least one gig, and I do. I train orientation leaders in theater for presenting for the first-year students, and I will say, "Hey, do me a favor, y'all, because I love these kids. Gosh, I love these kids." And it's they're from all over the world, and I say, "Please run the world, okay, and run for office." And if you want to know what the world looks like in the United States, really, go to the Atlanta airport in the domestic terminal, stand on a trash can, look down the concourse, and you'll see the red and yellow, black and white. You'll see all the ages and all the colors and all the places that we are from. And nobody will stand out except for you because you're standing on a trash can.
I love that.
So I say that to kids, yes.
Andy Offutt Irwin, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mark. Thank you, man.
Been a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.